Okay, we are very pleased to be joined by Judge Turner of the General Sessions Court. Judge, if you would please introduce who you have with you and then start your budget presentation for the committee, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. This is Warner Hassel, our administrator for the General Sessions Courts. And I'll give you a brief overview, and you already have some of this information in your packet. Business is always good in the General Sessions Court. We always say that. What sometimes is lost, I think, is our role as public safety people, and that is most of the time I think you think of, or most people think of police, fire, and sheriff probably as the entities that deal with public safety. Our role is pretty integral to that, and as a matter of fact, at least 3/4 of what we do, I believe, has to do with public safety, either criminal court events or metro and state traffic events. We have, over the last year or two, tried to enhance our revenue collections. One of the things that we've done is enhanced enforcement of our probation fees. And I think by the end of the year, we will probably have about $1 million through probation fees. We also have generated revenue, through the driver's license reinstatement class and the traffic school. Those are two separate entities. The driver's license reinstatement class was an idea a couple of years ago by Judge Eisenstein, and it was a really good idea. It has a twofold impact in that it generated some income, quite a bit of revenue, but it also would encourage people to get a valid driver's license. And I suppose that driver's license charges encompass somewhere between 30 and 40,000 cases that we deal with every year. And it is a very complicated and cumbersome process once you lose your driving privileges, and this is offender specific so that people can know exactly where they stand and know exactly what to do when and which step to take first. The traffic school also generates quite a bit of substantial revenue, I believe, and I believe we have, is it 5 or 6 traffic schools? Different.
Yes, between DDC 4 and DDC 8, live at 25.
We have several traffic schools that are available for people to protect their driver's license and generate a revenue for Metro as well. We've done one other thing, and that is implement a collection docket. Now that is a collaborative effort between the General Sessions judges and the criminal court clerk, so that some probation, Judge Moreland administers that particular docket, and some probations are extended so that people can pay the court costs and so forth that they owe. And I think that collection attorney has probably turned into Metro about $1.2 million as a result of that collaborative effort. We have assumed some duties in the past year that we did not have before. The state gave us a mandate that we must monitor multiple offender DUI defendants on their bond conditions. And so we have utilized our 2 electronic monitoring individuals in probation to do those things, and I believe they pick up somewhere between 6 and 10 cases a week. So we're not able to use them in our regular probation lineup as much, not near as much as we were able to before. I believe that you all have a packet in front of you, and Mr. Hassel is here to address any specifics about the budget.
Okay, thank you very much. Councilman Tigard, you're recognized.
Thank you. And with your discretion, Mr. Chair, I did want to ask one question, non-budgetary here, under the accomplishments. Successfully hired a new employee for the customer service rep position from 115 applications.
Okay, that was...
You had 115 applications for this one position?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was for a customer service representative in our IT department that deals with computer support for the court. And that particular position had 115 applicants. We had used the Metro HR department to post that notice on their website.
Either Metro jobs are highly coveted, or else the ability to work with Judge Turner is so prized that it attracts many applicants. Or some of both. Okay. All right. Judge, you mentioned a couple of revenue enhancements. It looks like, according to our book, in the few revenue items that are listed, there are decreases. Are those enhancements all going to show up under the criminal court clerk's budget? Or I'm on E52 and 53. It shows a $30,000 reduction in fines, forfeits, and penalties, a $239,500 reduction on E53 in the same category.
Yes, those reductions were mostly in the special purpose funds. That $239,700. That's on E53. That shows a reduction. That was something that the finance department took out of our revenue and put in the criminal court clerk's revenue, since they're the collection agent for those particular revenues. And so we're not getting credit for those, but it shows up on the clerk side of the ledger.
Ms. Lomax likes to keep us on our toes back there, so this is, right, I guess, one of those adjustments. Thank you. Under expenses, professional and purchase service, a reduction in $215,400. That's some kind of consulting on E53 also? Or contract, or what's the major difference in that drop?
That was just of balancing revenues to expenditures. That's when they took that out of our budget. That's where we took it out of. I mean,
so what was that? What services were purchased?
They were electronic monitoring purchases. They were also drug testing. It's a combination of things for our drug court and for our mental health court. But it was utilizing the collection docket revenues. And so now that revenue shows up on the clerk side of the ledger, but these are expenditures that were taken out of our budget.
Okay. Any cell phones provided to judges or any other employees?
Not to judges, but we have electronic monitoring staff, the treatment court staff, and mental health court staff have it, but it's all out of the dedicated account. None of the general fund covers the cost for the cell phones.
All right. And what about fleet?
Fleet, we've got 2 cars. One car is for the benefit of the mental health court and drug court, and the other is for the electronic monitoring.
Okay. Final question. Several years ago, the council had questioned, in also a tough budget year, the appropriateness of hiring someone to sit for a judge on the Wednesday afternoon environmental docket. That money was actually removed. Of course, we don't have line item veto, and you all miraculously found the funds to keep that position funded. Would you care to address that situation?
That particular position is authorized by a state private act, and it's for the exclusive use of the Division 4 judge or court with environmental court jurisdiction. So
but if you run for Division 4 jurisdiction, one of your responsibilities is to be the environmental judge. Is that correct?
They have environmental.
That is the job description.
Right.
But you choose not to sit in that position, and the taxpayers are asked to fund $25,000 for a substitute judge to sit in that position. I'm just having trouble, when we're in a budget crisis, justifying that expenditure.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Pardue, you're recognized.
Yes, thank you. The same question that I asked Judge Binkley on the interpretation, who pays for that? Is that added to the court cost in general services or general sessions, or do taxpayers pick that up?
The principal cost, or 90+% of the cost, is borne by the state of Tennessee. There's an Indigent Defense Council fund. That same fund has a certain allocation for interpreters. And as Mr. Townsend had mentioned earlier, they're going to be providing more funds this next fiscal year. I think it's going to be on the civil side, where they haven't provided funding in the past, and for civil proceedings, be it domestic relations or small claims.
Okay, but now that couldn't be added to the court cost. I mean, I understand the state picking up some of the tab, but is that coming out of the state government taxpayers' money? What I'm trying to get to is, I think that the defendants need to be paying that.
I'm not sure if it's coming through, if it's a direct, it may be in there in some way or another, but it's not directly in there. But the State Administrative Office of the Courts is the one that provides most of the funding for that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Seeing no other members that have any other questions or comments, Judge, Mr. Hassel, we really appreciate you being here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.